SoccerBeat, what?
How's everyone? Welcome back to SoccerBeat. It's our Monday trending show, and I'm here with Moeneeb Josephs, all the way from Kenya. Moeneeb, thanks for joining me. Can you give me a quick update? What's happening with you in Kenya? How are things going with the boys?
Always a pleasure, Mike. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me again, man. Yes, man. And I've got a lot of time on my hands here in Kenya, especially with national team duty, you know. You always have so much time on your hands now, but things are going well. I think now is the calm before the storm because the Chan is coming up and Kenya is hosting the tournament. So a lot of preparation is going into it. So it feels like you have a lot of time on your hands, but just clearly there's just the preparations going into place, you know. But it's going wonderful, and you know, it's a really great opportunity for us that we've been given here. And with us hosting this tournament as well, and seeing the potential of the Kenyan players, seeing the potential of the federation, of the country itself, you know, I always say that Kenya is in that position where South Africa was just before the 2010 World Cup, where things just started to boom. They're in that spot at the present moment, and for us to be here now, to be a part of that, it's just exciting and really something to look forward to for us. So yeah, looks like it's calm, but it's the calm before the storm, Mike.
Yeah, sure, man. Guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. We are growing faster and faster every week. So make sure you're one of the guys that hits the subscribe button so you can call yourself an OG 6 months from now when soccer beats all the way at the top. And if you're signing up with Betway, use the SoccerBeat code and you get an extra 25 Rand bet. Boys, today we're going to be, boys and girls, today we're going to be chatting all about Umbokazi, the talk of the town at the moment. We'll also talk about the big game coming up on the weekend, Chiefs vs Sundowns. Moeneeb, you don't think it's necessarily a big game, but
No,
it's a big game in South African context. And then we'll also talk about some potential Orlando Pirates signings. There's a lot of whispers in the corridors, and we'll chat about that as well. But before we get there, I want to chat to you about the TLB, the TBL, whichever they call it, the big truck, Umbokazi. He's started 5 games for the first team so far. They're yet to lose. They've conceded 1 since he's been into the first team. I mean, could you think of a smoother transition? I mean, he's played in big games already. When I looked at that crowd in Algeria, I thought, sure, I would have been a bit nervous to step onto that field. He's as a 19-year-old come out and performed incredibly well. Like, he literally hasn't put his foot wrong in some massive fixtures. How impressed have you been with him?
Oh, what a baptism for him as well, Mike. You know, and it's just such an amazing start for him because you get to play all these massive games, and as a 19-year-old, that really tests your maturity, really tests your development. And for me, he's just ticked off all those boxes. You know, calm, collected in such massive, because these are huge games that he's played in, Mike. You know, and it's a position there where we were a little bit worried because we were picking up injuries, and for him to come in and just decide, hey, listen, I'm just gonna come play my game and enjoy the game, because you can see that he's enjoying the game. The confidence he shows on turns and things like that, you know, with pressure on his back in the weekend's game as well. He's just showed so much maturity, you know, so much composure for a 19-year-old, and that's why I think you were asking for his birth certificate, you know. But listen, Mike, the boy showed he's miles, he's way ahead of his age for me, and he's exactly what he needs, and he's been such a big plus for the coach as well, because then all of a sudden the coach feels comfortable in going to a different system as well, you know. So he's added not just that composure and that comfort for our goalkeeper, for our defense, but he's also added an extra trick up the coach's sleeve as well, you know. So, oh my man, I'm so impressed with this boy. He reminds me a lot of, I remember a player that used to play with me, Lucas Twala, Mikey. You know, you remember Lucas Twala? You know, but the only difference with TLB is that he doesn't have to make those tackles, you know, because he's always reading the game. He's always in such good positions, always keeping up with the play, reading its situations. Whereas Lucas Twala, we know he was known for his tackles. So if you go past him, you know he's going to catch you at the end. But with Mbokazi, he doesn't have to catch up with you because he's in the position where you think you want to go. So that is him reading the game, his maturity, it's unbelievable. I'm so impressed.
When you speak about Lucas, and the reason I agree with you there is that obviously Lucas could score goals as well. And what we've seen already, Umbokazi has already scored that one cracker. And even on the weekend, he had that one long-range effort where he smashed the thing. And he had the keeper worried for a little bit. Like, he's got a good left foot where, like, there could be goals there. And we know Lucas, I mean, that one season he finished top goal scorer in the league. So maybe we've got another goal scorer in Umbokazi. You never know.
You never know.
But the one thing I
But
want
did you
to
also
ask you,
see?
and maybe you can give the people a bit more clarity, like why is it so important to have a left-sided centre back with a left foot? Because it's like a rarity, and they become very valuable in a market. Like, why is a left-footed centre back so important?
Yeah, because a left footer, Mike, in any position, a left footer is a rarity. It's a rare breed, and you they just offer you in the context of the football, and especially where the modern day game has evolved, where the modern day game has gone to. There's so much emphasis on the build-up play, right? So much emphasis on the build-up play. So he brings that balance. If any team wants to build up to the right, it's always just so comfortable going to the right because most of the players in any football world is a right-footed player. So now you have a centre back onto the left-footed. So now you have both options to vary and to go to. Where if you build up to the left, you have a comfortable player who opens up to the left, and he has those, in the coaching terms, where they always say you have that three options of passing options, right? Whereas if it's a right footer and you build up to the left, he has to come back to his right foot, and teams plan according to that as well. Teams, because they know every team now, modern day coaches is more interested in the build up play, and if you build up to a player with a right footed centre back. Yeah, exactly. And that's an easier way for them to set up a pressing trigger if you got the right-footed centre back on the left-hand side. Because his only option is he has to come back inside to come and play to his strong foot, and that is right into where the pressure is everywhere is. Whereas if you have a left-footed centre back, he just comes out and it's hard to press him because he has all those options on his natural side, his comfortable side. So it just adds such a lot of value to the team. Such a lot of comfort, such a lot of options as well. So that is how important a left-footed centre back is. And it's not, listen, Mike, you get a centre back in the olden days where you can have a left footer, right footer. His job is to clear the ball and make tackles. That is how the old game used to work. The centre back is there to tackle. But the modern day footballer, he's got to play. He's the start of the attack. He's the start of every attack because it's so structured, so well planned that, listen, if we get to the left-hand side, we can have all these various options and the game just flows. That's how how important the left-sided centre-back is to the modern game, And Mbokazi, she was for 19 years old, Mikey. Where would we be speaking of a comfortable 19-year-old in today's modern age, especially in an important position like this? You know what I'm saying, Mike? When I was 19-year-old, she was I couldn't sleep the night before, Couldn't let him sleep, but he looks like, even when you were speaking about the goals that Lucas Twala used to score, and so he scored a goal as well. But did you see him in his celebration? He's just calm, relaxed. I've scored a goal. What? That should be part of my game. Me, I would have ran home at 19 years old. I scored a goal.
Yeah.
After that celebration, the ref had to call the game off because I'm not coming back onto the field. But this boy is so matured for his age, so composed, so relaxed. You think to yourself, this boy's been here forever. But it's only a plus for us. Only a plus for us.
Yeah. It took me 5 years and over 100 games to score my first PSL goal. This guy just comes in, makes it look easy.
Yeah.
Some of us spent our whole lives trying to score a goal. So he's made it look very easy.
We couldn't catch you, we had to throw sand on you. Stop that boy. You need to be as part of the game that still needs to happen here. Where this boy scores and he's just I should be doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only for Orlando Pirates, Mike. Gee whiz, man. And if you look at it, the benefit is brought to Orlando Pirates, and I'm sure as well for the country. Oh my goodness, this is a big plus.
Yeah, so Bruce has already hinted, I think in a press conference, he did mention the fact that in June we might see some new faces in the Bafana squad, and I'm thinking obviously with Chan and everything coming up, that hopefully he gets in the mix. So he's mentioned his name in that conversation. So, I mean, do you think he's somebody we should be roping into the national team setup already, or is it too early to start talking like that?
No, Mike, we know, we've seen with Hugo Bruce. He's not looking at the big names. He's not that guy. He looks at the guy. That's what I love about Coach Bruce as well. He selects you on merit. And if he sees that you are comfortable, because he's been all around the continent and he's seen everything. And a guy like Umbokazi, who's just been doing it regularly week in, week out, doesn't look phased at anything. He looks comfortable. So with Hugo Bruce mentioning him as well, I'm sure that for him, he won't think twice to select a player like Umbokazi. That's what I love about the national team coach again as well. It's because he doesn't select you on this and thinking, oh, no. If you're doing the business, you're playing well and you're doing well for your team, then you're going to be selected. 100% you're going to be selected. Unfortunately, none of the Chiefs players have been selected, because clearly they're not getting selected on merit, But for Orlando Pirates, you can see Umbokazi. Umbokazi is just comfortable. And Hugo Bruce, I'm sure. I'm so confident, not because of his Orlando Pirates player, but because at the moment there's no left-sided centre-back who's as confident and playing as well as he is,
Yeah. No, and I mean, it's good timing. I mean, obviously, Rushwin looked like Hugo Bruce's first choice as a left-sided centre-back, and he picked up an injury. And when a door opens, then there's always opportunity there.
Yes, 100%.
Sticking on with the Pirates theme, there's been two names that have been bandied around over the last couple of weeks, and that's obviously Basadien, the left back, and Appollis as well. Like when I hear the name Appollis, the only thing that I think about is the fact that if they're going to be looking to sign Appollis, it'll only be as a replacement for Rele if Rele is leaving. So I don't really want that to happen, but at the same time, we want the boy to grow, and we want the boy to go overseas and really smash the lights out in a bigger league. But Basadien, left back,
How would you like to win a little something extra just for joining the best in the game? For a limited time, we are teaming up with Betway and giving all of you access to a SoccerBeat exclusive. If you join Betway using the sign-up code SoccerBeat, now in March, you'll get 25 Rand Extra Bet. That's right. It's time to get way more out of every bet. Standard T's and C's apply.
He's been great for Stellenbosch. He was the best left back in the league for me last season. He's again been incredible this season again. Are those two players that you think Orlando Pirates should be looking at?
Mike, if I look at those two players, I think those would be quality signings. For one reason is we're competing now consistently on the African level, on the African continent, consistently competing there, right? And if you want to compete at that level, you're gonna need to have depth. Yes, we have our depth in our youngsters, but you're gonna also need to have, especially competing on that level, you're gonna need to have quality depth. A player like Basadien, who's just been consistent through this whole season and would add something to our team as well. I think he would be a great signing as well, because the quality he has a set piece in him. He has so many qualities coming from a left back. He has the engine to go up and down, and we've seen that with Stellenbosch, where he's just been very instrumental from such a deep position. And if we look at our left back position, we have Marco, and we have a little bit of a shortage there. Right, so he will fill in beautifully into that position as well.
Always, if we want to use him. The problem is Hotto obviously gives us the option as a winger as well. Yeah. So
yes, but that's the thing as well. We have Hotto as well. True, Mikey, 100%. But Hotto gives you that. He has that engine for you. But Hotto also has goals in him. That's a conversation I was having as well the other day. That he has goals in him. So for him to be playing from a deeper position, we tend to curb him from getting into that positions where he can be very effective for us. So if we sign a player like Basadien, he moves up higher and problem solved, then we know we can have goals out of Otto, because as he's getting on with age as well, he's a very committed player, very dedicated, very hard working player for us. But as the age gets on, we need to also adjust a bit where we allow him to get high up the field, where he's going to be more effective for us. So with Basadien coming in, that's why I say it'll be a quality signing for us. Then if we look at a player like Appollis, yes, as much as I don't wanna say that Rele is going, I don't want to admit to that fact, but the boy has to move on if things are happening. This is what it's all about, going for bigger, better things. And if he has to move on, he served our purpose for us, because he is on a quality, on a level that he needs to be playing on an international scale more regularly, so for him to grow as a player, because it's just that quality. But also, and I also see it as well, Appollis, if we should sign him, he looks very active as a 10. He looks very active all amongst that front three there, even as a false 9, and I think that would be the mindset in having a player like Appollis. Yes, he's effective on the right side, he's going to be effective on the left side, but he also has that final pass in him. If you use him as a 10, he's in a position where we've been lacking. If you look, we normally use a player like Dlamini, as if we play with in that position, am I right? Who goes up higher into that 10 position, whereas or Tito as well, where we know Tito's been struggling with a little bit of injuries as well. So they'll also add that competition to him as well for Tito in that position, where Appollis, where he's very active in that front three, and I think as well for a player like Tito, it will be beneficial, because you want to have someone breathing down your neck, and if you have a player like Tito, like Appollis breathing down your neck, it's only going to be beneficial to the team, because Tito, obviously, I'm not saying that he's too complacent in that position. No, he brings something else to the game for us, but also it will push his game to another level, knowing that he has an Appollis who can fill in that position as well, and so yes, as much as I'd like to see Rele stay with us, if he must move, we are definitely gonna miss him. But a player like Appollis, I think, oh my goodness, it's a signing that is, you don't even have to think of that. As if you look at in the Polokwane's game lost yesterday, when was it, the game before? He's just the only player making things happen. He makes the team tick. You know, so if you can play him in so many positions, he can be effective in all across that front three. He will be effective for us. So those two signings definitely a positive plus for us.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that at least we're linked with him, because you just never want to be in a position where you lose him and then there's a hole there. Like, where Appollis might come in and it takes a bit of time to gel or whatever, but you know that that's an adequate replacement for. It's a national team player. We don't replace with leftovers, with scraps. We replace with world-class international players. So
100%.
like, that's the level Pirates is on, and it's like, again, chess masters. Like, we move one piece here, we move another piece there. We're forward thinking, which I really like.
100%, Mike.
So on to our last talking point. What I consider a very big game this weekend: Chiefs versus Sundowns, for different reasons. We actually, for a change, we're hoping that Chiefs can do us a favor here. But you're not sounding so optimistic about the challenge that Chiefs can pose to Sundowns this weekend. What are you thinking for this weekend's game?
Listen, Mike. The reason why, I'm going to be honest now, the reason why I've been winding Chiefs up all the time, and whenever I do, and the Chiefs supporters must think, that's all he wants to talk about is Chiefs. No. The reason why I'm winding Chiefs up is much because Chiefs need the backing of their supporters now. You know? But all their supporters do is just criticize. They don't even take what we say or what I say. We are eating their powers all the time. They don't even take it in the positive and say to themselves, let's get behind our team. No, they're just so negative. All they do is, if something goes wrong with their team, they hop onto the team even more. You know? They don't have that mentality of, listen, let's get behind and back our team even more now. No, they just as negative as the position is. It shouldn't be that way. They should be saying, let's band together now and get behind our team, because that is what their team needs at the present moment. Mikey, if you look at it realistically, Kaizer Chiefs is 6 points above 14th position. 6 points above 14th position. That is the reality of it. And you're looking for a turning point somewhere now. You're looking for a turning point. And you think you're going to get a turning point against Mamelodi Sundowns? No chance. So what does that point to? It points to that their supporters need them more than ever right now. Their supporters need them more than ever right now. You know, they're not going to get the support from us. No, we Orlando Pirates. And we're even happier when we see them struggling like this. But on the whole, as a football fraternity, we need the Kaizer Chiefs to be back into winning ways, back to things again. But they're going to need their support. They want to speak about, they have this massive support in South Africa. They're one of the biggest supporting teams of South Africa. Yes, they are. But only when they're winning. Not when the chips are down. When the chips are down, you don't hear them. Then they were like one of us criticizing their team. And their team needs them at the present moment. It's going to be a massive game for them this weekend. This is the time to show. Because even the 70 Sundown supporters, they're going to be more positive than what these guys, the Chiefs supporters, are. You know? It's going to sound like those 70,000 supporters are much more than the Kaizer Chiefs. When you know, Kaizer Chiefs is a big brand, Mike. Listen, Kaizer Chiefs is a big brand, man. And they should be, if things are not going well on the field, it should be the energy and the positive energy and the support should come from the stands. Because that is what they're going to need. Things are not working out at the present moment for them. But if it's not working out on the field, it can't just not be working out in the stands as well. You can't just support your team when you're winning. No, when your team is in the downs and in the struggling for things, that is when you need your supporters now. That is why they call him the 12th man. You know, that is the real definition of a 12th man. But they don't have this 12th man now, because everybody just wants Kaizer Chiefs to be a winning brand.
You can definitely feel the sentiment shifting now. I think it was very much they were on Nabi's side for the majority of the season. They were saying he was the man. There's issues at the club, there's issues with the players, etc., etc. But the longer this goes on, and the performances are not improving, they're now saying he's had time to work with the team, but now they're saying where's the results now? And they're not seeing the performances, they're not seeing the results, and you're seeing that sentiment start to shift. And I just don't want to see a case where now Chiefs now have to overhaul their whole technical team again, and then they're starting from square one again. I mean, ideally, there are signs that there's progress, and then you can go into the next transfer window, strengthen again, and you see incremental growth. But you can feel like there's the sentiment shifting, and Chiefs fans are getting impatient, and we know when that happens, things can change. So, look, as Pirates fans, we'd love for Chiefs to pull off a result this weekend. They could make the league very interesting again, because if they beat Sundowns here, and Sundowns and Pirates keep on ticking along, we just get a little interesting finish to the season this season. So I'd love for Chiefs to do us a favor here, but I'm in your camp here, where I think it's going to be very difficult for them. It'll be interesting to see his approach. Does he set up defensively? Do you think a draw Does that satisfy Chiefs supporters here? Just
nothing's gonna
protect the
Mike, nothing's gonna satisfy the Chiefs supporters, because they're used to winning. That's their brand. That's a winning brand. Kaizer Chiefs as a brand is just it entails the word winning. There's never in their mindset where a draw is gonna be happy for us, and that's the way it should be. In normal football terms, in normal football life, in normal Kaizer Chiefs life. But you have to understand the situation that team is in at the present moment. So it's going to need something else. Yes, maybe a draw would be a good result. A draw would be a result for them because, Mikey, realistically, let's put it realistically, they're 2 games away from being. That's 7 points. Say 3. They're 2 games and they in that struggle behind there. And at the moment we can see that they don't have the character even to win games. They don't have that character to say he's going to stand up and say, listen, we're going to take this team by the horns and carry this team. So what happens if they end up in that position down there? You know what I'm saying, mate? That's the reality of it. We have to look at it realistically because that is the reality. 2 games with no results and you find yourself in there, then it's going to be a different worry because now you clearly know you don't have a team that can carry the brand, a team that can handle the pressure, and that pressure down there is a different pressure. So everything depends on the weekend's result today. Normally on the weekend's result. Normally a Sundowns team is it's a game where you can really you need motivation, especially when things are not going well. You need motivation to play against a team like Sundowns. You're gonna have that motivation naturally, because you're playing one of the best teams in Africa, right? So you're gonna have that motivation. But do you have the players who can handle the pressure of that motivation, the pressure of that? We need to win. We need to get a result. Tactically, they're gonna need to be sound because, as we know, Sundowns can expose you either way. But your tactics going to need to on point this week. It's going to need to be on point this weekend, and so a lot is going to be a lot is going to be depending on this weekend result for them, and they really need to be up for it. Really, supporters and players, even their multi man.
Yeah, Chief supporters, let us know. Are you feeling prior this weekend's fixture? What result would make you happy as a supporter? Are you still in the Nabi camp? What do you think's going on there? Let us know in the comments. Make sure if you're signing up to Betway, use the SoccerBeat code and you'll get extra 25 Rand bet. That's all from us at SoccerBeat. We will be here tomorrow because we've got Orlando Pirates playing in a massive Champions League game as well. So hopefully we're here and we are back dancing, happy people, and make sure you join us for that. And we'll see you guys.
And also we have to mention, listen, let's give props to the big game on the weekend as well. That's their big game on the weekend, the Battle of the Yellows. So we come out and support which yellow will shine the brightest. Let's be there. But tomorrow is our big game.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next one.
Cheers, guys.
SoccerBeat, what?